seconds.
Itong araw lang, di natikman ang liwanag. Hindi na alam, di makangiti, isip ay sawi sa ligayang ako'y binigyan. Di ako makakaganito kundi sa'yo. Wala rin naman hanggang kailan. Sana ngayon lang maranasan. Huwag mo kong saktan. Di ako magkakaganito kundi sa'yo. Di kita iiwanan, pangakong di pababayaan. Ako'y nandyan lamang, nababalo. Iiwanan, pangakong di pababayaan. Ako'y nandyan lamang, namabalo. Di kita iiwanan, pangakong di pababayaan. Ako'y nandyan lamang, namabalo. Anong balita sa radyo at TV? Ganun pa rin kumakapa sa dilim. Minsa'y naisip ko nang umalis na lang dito. Limutan ng lahat, lumipad, lumayo. Bato-bato sa langit, tamang wag magalit. Alam naman natin kung sino ang tuso sa bawat sampang umiiyak. Singil ko ay piso sa bawat lumuluwang dukha. Alay ko'y dugo, may kasama ka kapatid, kaibigan. Hanggat ako'y humihinga, may pag-asa pa.
Save every soul. With permission, I'll make this my personal mission. Save me from the fire, from the fire. Save me from the fire.
Ngayong gabi, ako ang sundalo mo. Habang ika'y tulog, ako'y gising nakabantay sa'yo. Kasi mahal kita, tingnan mo. Pag-ibig ko sa'yo lamang. May kasama ka kapatid, kaibigan. Hanggat ako'y humihinga, may pag-asa pa.
All right. Once again, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, and also to all our participants in different parts of the planet. Happy Saturday. Once again, this is onefise.ph in our program, which is the sports series. This is your host, Coach JR Biturbo, and of course, together with me, Coach Josh Ben Villarreal. Magandang hapon, Coach Josh. Kamusta ang nagdaang linggo?
Hi, Coach JR. Very exciting week, no? Sa ating sa school, of course, because we're reaching the end of the school year. There's a lot of work, but of course, kayang-kaya natin yan because we're teachers and we're here for a purpose, no? So, ikaw, Coach Jer, kamusta ang iyong week na nakaraan?
Of course, kahit naman sabihin natin hindi matatapos ang work, nandiyan pa rin yung excitement, di ba? In one of our talks nga, di ba, sabi natin, Coach Josh, it looks like that the Saturday is always, afternoon is always dedicated for our fellow PE teachers in the country. And you know, Coach Josh, no, kung iisipin natin, nakikita natin when we're creating our publication materials or our PubMats, you imagine we made already 46 episodes, no? And to be honest, no, I'm with you when we started this journey, tayong dalawa na nagsimula, no? And di natin namalayan that we made to to have already to host a conference already. And the good thing, Coach Josh, no, we are already building partnerships even in international organization. Kaya alam natin, Coach Josh, na at ito, no, ang ating mga nakasama dito sa ating tambayan every Saturday dito sa 1pz.ph ay laging nandyan and growing. Kaya excited ako kahit mahirap yung trabaho. I think marami nga nagsasabi din sa akin, Coach Josh, na itong ating ginagawa ay para nagiging stress reliever nila every Saturday na merong isang community na mga PE teachers na nag-gather para matuto as a group, as a community. So
Exactly.
yes, I'm pretty excited.
Exactly.
So,
Coach Jay, ma-share ko lang, no? I mean, the Saturday, no? I mean, it's very important for everyone. It's a stress reliever. At the
yes.
same time, in this new time of pandemic, PE teachers, coaches tayo, this is the venue for us to share of what are the practices that we can do para ma-survive tong pandemic natin, because sino pa ba magtutulungan kundi tayo mga PE teachers at mga coaches lang naman.
And because of that, Coach Josh, hindi natitigil yung ating Saturday activities program kasi nga we know that there's a community who is there always na nakasupport, and I think no win-win dahil sila din ay of course nagkakaroon ng professional development training. So
Tama.
ayan. So bago tayo magpunta sa ating mga ilang anunsyo or announcement, of course let's recognize, no, of course dito siguro ang ating mga fellow PE teachers and coaches ay naninibago. Bakit kaya, Coach Josh? Dahil, syempre, the 3 o'clock habit tayo every Saturday. But because alam natin na ang topic today ay isa sa mga laging lumalabas sa evaluation, no, na gusto nilang makuha na training. Of course, humanap tayo ng isa talagang speaker na alam natin na nagpa-practice talaga. Itong isi-share niya ay a practice of the things na ginagawa nila ngayong new normal. So, of course, oh my God, meron na pala tayong kahit iba yung time slot natin ngayon. Magandang hapon sa 153 people na nandyan sa YouTube Live, and of course para rin ma-excite ang ating speaker, no, may shinare po ako na link dyan. So gustong kamustahin tayo ng ating speaker, kaya yung link po na shinare ni Coach JR ay gusto po sana nating gusto po naming sagutan ninyo para makuha niya ang mga feedback mula sa ating mula sa mga nanonood dyan sa YouTube. And take note, may mga ilang link pa po tayo na ibibigay dyan sa ating chat box sa YouTube later para makuha nga ni speaker yung mga gusto niyang detalye from you. So magandang hapon, and of course nakakatuwa dahil ang ating mga nanonood sa hapon na to ay hindi lang dito sa bansa natin, may mga taga-ibang bansa tayo ng mga PE teachers na nakatune in sa atin ngayon. And scattered to, no? Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, grabe. So again, kung nandiyan po kayo sa ating YouTube Live, isa lamang po ang request, no? Ito lamang po, itong ating ginagawa ay free, at isa lamang po ang request ng 1pz.ph. Let's share the link para po meron pong mga iba pang mga PE teachers in your division, in your province na makapanood ng ating episode. And pag sinasabi ko to, Coach, just biglang umaangat yan eh. Kaya maraming salamat sa ating mga PE teachers.
Coach Jay, madagdag
Coach.
ko lang, no? I mean, talagang for sure naninibago ang ating mga viewers sa ating 3 o'clock habit, no? Na medyo napaaga tayo. Kasi for a reason na hindi talaga natin pwedeng tanggihan yung ating speaker ngayon, no?
Exactly.
Talagang we have to adjust for him, no? Kasi talagang napaka-interesting ng topic at minsan lang natin mako-corner tong si Coach. No, so minsan natin ito mahabol. So we have to adjust to accommodate him. Talagang that's how important he is, no, for One Piece and for this talk na mangyayari ngayon.
Yes, and para
Alright.
sa kaalaman ng bawat isa, he is really excited for this episode dahil gusto niyang ma-meet lahat ng mga PE teachers na nasa atin ngayon. So, bago po tayo magsimula, in a few minutes na lang, gusto ko lamang pong magkaroon ng mga onting announcement, and of course, let's recognize the International Organization for Health, Sports, and Kinesiology, our partner, international partner. They're gonna have their conference this coming May na po yan, and kindly visit the Facebook page of IOH SK para po makapag-register tayo sa conference, and meron tayong regalo sa ating mga PE teachers. We all know that we are promoting multi-medium here in onefised.ph to deliver physical education. That's why paki-take note na po sa ating mga notes. By May, we're gonna start our dance series. Imagine, no? Sports, then gusto namin itry na mag-feature naman ng paano tinuturo ang dance ngayong new normal. Kaya po wag yung imamimiss ang ating episode for May, because those are 4 topics we invited great speakers who will be with us to deliver. No, 4 Saturdays po yan na magkakaroon tayo ng ating dance series. And of course, next week, no, lalahatin ko na, next week po, we're gonna have this a topic which is somehow it's a physical activity. Now, maybe not that a sport, but it is about outdoor activities in PE. How are we gonna use outdoor activities as a medium to fulfill the competencies in physical education? So, abangan po natin itong mga very exciting na topic. Take note that. So hindi ko na po ito patatagalin, no? And again, bago po tayo magsimula, maaari po na paki-accomplish yung link, no? Yung link na shinare ko po a while ago dyan sa ating YouTube live para po makapag-join po tayo sa Slido ng ating speakers. And now, let me formally introduce our speaker. Hayaan mo na ako, Coach Josh, no? I-introduce ko na ang ating speaker natin.
Go ahead, Coach.
All right. So our speaker is a former, of course, DLSE or De La Salle Santiago Zobel School boys volleyball team. So he's in the sport volleyball, and of course he was also a De La Salle University men's volleyball team libero, and a former general manager of Santa Lucia Lady Realtors. And currently, he is the sports development office head of De La Salle Santiago Zobel School. And kitang-kita naman natin, pure green talaga ang ating speaker, and of course kasama po namin siya sa aming paaralan. Napakagaling, napaka-innovative, napaka-passionate, no? And napaka-multi-skilled na sports director. Let's all welcome, okay, our speaker for this afternoon, Sir Santi. Mr. Santi Edralin. Let's give him a round of applause, guys.
Sige, good afternoon, Sir JR, One Piece Ed, family, Sir Josh, and everyone. Miss Evie was behind this endeavor, no, this community. I was actually looking at the Google Forms, and I was surprised. Sabi ko, 400 na, ang dami na nito. So I was already fixing my slides, and then naging 500, naging 600. Kanina, mga 15 minutes before the start of the, meron na naman, naging 750 na. So, di ko na alam kung ano yung actual number. But hello to everyone. It's very a pleasure and an honor to be here.
Yes, Coach Santi, and for sure, marami pong matututunan ng aming mga PE teachers with your practices in our school. You may start po your presentation.
Sige, I'm actually here, no. More than anything else, I'd like to share, no, na from the very start, at the very start, I'm also here to learn. That's why we're having this Slidos, no. We're having this very interactive na presentation. I'm not just gonna give a talk. I'm also gonna listen to you. Pwede kayo maglagay sa chat box or sa YouTube, and then bibigyan tayo ng feedback siguro nila Sir Josh and Sir JR. So siguro Sir JR maybe or Sir Josh, can we put the sa slide yung slides natin if you can present it. So I was invited, no, to come here and give this school sports program in the new normal. And to be honest, I cannot claim that I am an expert on this because everyone is. This is uncharted territory. Everyone's in the same storm, no, but just in different boats. Some also might say na kasi Lasal is very blessed, no, but Sir JR and Sir Josh and everybody knows na it's very hard, no, it's very hard, it's challenging, and I would just like to share with you siguro yung mga natutunan namin more than anything else. And I'd like to also open up na sana kayo rin mag-participate kayo dito sa session natin. Ano? So the topic is school sports program in the new normal. Some of you might be involved with basketball, football, or volleyball. Yan yung mga famous sports natin. Ano? But there are also other sports na up and coming. And sa akin, itong pinagdadaanan natin sa sports, is no joke talaga. Hindi siya ganun kadali. We might be able to say na ito pwede natin ma-overcome to, pero it's not really that easy. I just want to start off with that, no. And then siguro when we talk about sports in the new normal, gusto ko munang sabihin sa lahat na I am not just here to talk about sports, no. I'm here because number one, siguro tulad ng iba sa inyo, no, you are family oriented din, may pamilya kayo. I have a family. I have 5 kids. 2 of them are in Zobel, studying in Zobel. Yung dalawa malinggit pa, and we also have an angel in heaven, no. And then I started out my sports career with De La Salle Zobel. And then eventually, no, naglaro ako sa one of the first libero in De La Salle University. Puti pa yung bola nun. So kung inabutan niyo yun, medyo nagkakaintindihan tayo. And then after that, I worked as a volunteer, as a full-time worker, no, for Youth for Christ. I also volunteer with Gawad Kalinga, an NGO. And then after that, I went back to Zobel. No, I coached in Zobel as an assistant coach ng girls volleyball team. And then after that, no, a little over 6 or 7 months after that, I was invited to become part of the women's volleyball team ng College of St. Benilde, another LaSalle school. And I was very fortunate enough to be part of the first ever championship ng school in the history of College of CSB. So very lucky ako. I came at the right time. I came at the right place at the right time. And I'm so happy, no, na naging part kami ng history. Ang kasama namin doon sila Broden, ang president, no, ng College of St. Benilde. Then after that, nabanggit ni Sir JR, I was part of Santa Lucia Lady Realtors, PSL. Right now, they're in the PVL. They're turning pro. And we started that program really from the ground up. So most of the involvement ko has been volleyball. But I'd like to share, no, na I'm a great basketball fan. I'm interested with many sports, no. I'm a great admirer of football. I also try to, learn other means, no, of recreation, lalo nga ngayong pandemic. Pero para lang siguro sa kaalaman ng lahat, kung hindi kayo familiar sa fantasy basketball, yan yung isa sa mga kinahihiligan ko pampatanggal stress, no. But sige, kanina I was very surprised, no, na when I said na paki yung Slido, nakita ko many are saying they are blessed. Many are saying that they are great. Pag nakita niyo yung results, yung Slido, maybe later we can show it. Okay, may iba, they're pretty good, they're fine, they're unmotivated, they're not doing well. Pero alam nyo, yung lumalabas dun sa, maybe later we can present it. Ang lumalabas dun sa Slido results, great, they're feeling great and they're feeling blessed. And that's really a good way to start this webinar, this session, no? Kasi alam naman natin, lalo na ngayon na yung numbers are not just numbers. Alam ko marami na rin sa atin ang tinamaan ng pandemic, not just because yung kapitbahay natin, not just because yung kaibigan natin, yung hindi natin, yung ngayon mayroon ng kaibigan, kamag-anak, katabi natin na bahay na talagang na-affect na ng pandemic. And our hearts really go out to them, no? And it's good, no, na I meet a lot of foreigners and they say, alam niyo yung mga Filipinos, they're very resilient, no? They're very resilient. And I really hope, no, na this resiliency will really see us through this pandemic. So, tinanong ko din, no, dun sa ating Google Forms, no? I think kung kamusta kayo, no? Nakita ko na marami sa inyo, no? Sir Josh, can we move the slide to slide 3? Nakita ko na marami sa inyo are yeah. So tapos na tayo sa intro. Nakita ko na marami sa inyo ang nasa 15% are PE teachers, of course. And then ang pinakamalaki, very happy, isa sa pinakamalaki is volleyball, and then followed by basketball, and then I think taekwondo is there, and then badminton, and then the rest are very spread out. And sa next slide, I think ang maganda sa mga pinag-usapan natin ngayon, many of you are, majority, more than 55% are in 1 to 5 years na involved sa sports, no? Or sabihin natin 1 to 10 years, 75%. And that's good, no? And pero believe din ako dun sa mga 30 years and above, 20 years and above, because learning never stops, sabi nga nila. I am very humbled na though you are already that long, no? Kayo nga dapat yung nagbibigay sa amin ng mga learnings, no, with your experience, but you're still here to being part of this session, no. Next, please. Next slide. So, is there a sports program in your institution or in your school during this pandemic? Ito yung isang slide na sana makita natin na tumaas. 33% said yes or more, no? Pero pag kinambay natin yung 46% na red to the others, most probably around 50% or more than 60% are saying na hindi, nawala. And that's what we will be talking about, no? Paano natin tutuloy ang sports program without, during this pandemic, kung wala tayong sports program from the school, no? And I hope we'll be able to share our experiences. Nakita ko pumasok. Shout out kay Miss Lani. Siya isa sa mga part ng program natin. Isa yan sa mga part ng pag-uusapan natin, yung success namin, no? Art of our team. Next slide. Sige. What are our expectations? Nakita ko rin that many of you are here for personal growth. Many of you are here to talk about planning. Ayan. Gustong-gusto ko yan. Meron tayong pag-uusapan na activities, motivational, inspirational. And I hope that the whole group, no, na kung ilan man tayo dito ay, the Google Form said that there are more than 800, 700, 800 who are here. So I hope that we achieve this. And as we move forward sa next slide, I'd like to first get in contact with you. Alam ko nag-slide doon na kayo. Okay? Nag-slide doon na kayo and sinabi nyo na you're feeling great and you're feeling blessed. Pero I further want to ask you to please answer pa. I'll give you 45 seconds pa to ask, kamusta kayo? Balikan nyo yung slide, titignan ko ulit yung results. And gusto ko pa makita, no, kung this is going to be a good time to pause and reflect, no? Kaya na, yung iba sinasabi, great, they're feeling great as a teacher, as a coach, good, still adjusting to the new normal, no? Sige, 45 seconds.
I shared it again, Sir Santi, in the YouTube. Yeah.
Lumalabas siya, no? Lumalabas yung results and it's increasing, no? And I keep on refreshing it. So I really just want to first get in contact with you. Tapos ito hindi alam ni Sir JR, I will be just to keep you guys on your toes. May makikita kayo mga red words dyan na starting with the letter C. So kung masabi nyo sa akin kung ilang red words yan, starting with the letter C. Miss Lani, hindi ka kasali dito. Pagka nasabi niyo sa akin at the end of the session, meron kaming prize sa inyo. Okay? Mamaya sabihin ko yung prize. Care of, say JR. Hindi, joke lang. Care of me, kung nasan man kayo, Bulacan or what, papadala namin dyan. So I want to be in contact with you guys by saying na, sige, further, Sir Josh, ano muna yung wolf na finifeed nyo? What am I talking about? Yung brain daw natin, yung ating mind has two wolves, no? And ang tanong, meron daw nagtatanong na, which wolf will win? So wolf A, yan yung full of negativity, full of this, yung complaint, procrastination, dismissal, nag-ignore, giving up. And the other wolf is wolf B. So I'm glad na dito sa One Phys Ed PH, hindi kayo ganun. Marami sa inyo challenge, marami sa inyo very tired but striving. And I think the Wolf B is winning. So I want to say na kudos to, with this, no, na-inspire ako na even though we're going through this, we are showing that we are resilient. Okay, sige. So moving forward, ano yung cry natin for sports? Ang cry natin for sports is, kailan ba tayo babalik? Yan ang number one tanong, no? Kailan tayo babalik? Whether we're in school or PE or what. Ang totoo is walang may alam. Even with the vaccine, even with the lowering of cases, pagbalik ng NBA, merong Vismin Cup. Oops, wag muna natin pag-usapan ng Vismin basketball. Meron tayong I think a PVL or will already open soon. The reality is there are risks, no? We will have risks. And there are sports that have low risks. Kung nandyan yung sport nyo, baka mas maaga kayo mag-start. Kung medium, moderate risk kayo, naku, yung sport na pinaka-favorite ko, yung volleyball, medyo medium, moderate. And yung high risk, which is favorite natin, marami sa atin, favorite is basketball. No? So I think that's our cry. Everybody, yan ang gusto nating, sana babalik. Kailan ba tayo babalik? No? Dito lang, yung basketball court namin, tinanggal talaga yung ring. Eh. So kahit na mag-shooting ka, hindi talaga pwede. So kailan ba talaga babalik? That's our cry. No? And sa next slide, I'd like to talk about what is our conviction? And I want you to watch this short video. Mahilig ako sa TED Talks videos. And maganda sa TED Talks, 4 minutes, 5 minutes lang may inspire ka na. So this is how sports benefits your body and your brain. Ito kasi yung pwede nating sabihin or pwede nating i-leverage off with our institutions and with our schools and with our groups, with our communities, no? How the sports will benefit your brain. Sabi nga sila, hindi, naglalaro lang yan atleta lang yan or coach lang yan. But little did you know, there's science that says that sports benefits the body and your brain. So let's watch this video.
The victory of the underdog over the favored team, the last-minute penalty shot that wins the tournament, the high-energy training montages. Many people love to glorify victory on the playing field, cheer for favorite teams, and play sports. But here's a question. Should we be so obsessed with sports? Is playing sports actually as good for us as we make it out to be, or just a fun and entertaining pastime? What does science have to say? First of all, it's well accepted that exercise is good for our bodies and minds, and that's definitely true. Exercising, especially when we're young, has all sorts of health benefits, like strengthening our bones, clearing out bad cholesterol from our arteries, and decreasing the risk of stroke, high blood pressure, and diabetes. Our brains also release a number of chemicals when we work out, including endorphins. These natural hormones, which control pain and pleasure responses in the central nervous system, can lead to feelings of euphoria, or what's often called a runner's high. Increased endorphins and consistent physical activity in general can sharpen your focus and improve your mood and memory. So does that mean we'd get just as much benefit going to the gym 5 days a week as we would joining a team and competing? Well, here's where it gets interesting. Because it turns out that if you can find a sport and a team you like, studies show that there are all sorts of benefits that go beyond the physical and mental benefits of exercise alone. Some of the most significant are psychological benefits, both in the short and long term. Some of those come from the communal experience of being on a team. For instance, learning to trust and depend on others, to accept help, to give help, and to work together towards a common goal. In addition, commitment to a team and doing something fun can also make it easier to establish a regular habit of exercise. School sport participation has also been shown to reduce the risk of suffering from depression for up to 4 years. Meanwhile, your self-esteem and confidence can get a big boost. There are a few reasons for that. One is found in training. Just by working at skills, especially with a good coach, you reinforce a growth mindset within yourself. That's when you say, even if I can't do something today, I can improve myself through practice and achieve it eventually. That mindset is useful in all walks of life. And then there's learning through failure, one of the most transformative long-term benefits of playing sports. The experience of coming to terms with defeat can build the resilience and self-awareness necessary to manage academic, social, and physical hurdles. So even if your team isn't winning all the time, or at all, there is a real benefit to your experience. Now, not everyone will enjoy every sport. Perhaps one team is too competitive, or not competitive enough. It can also take time to find the sport that plays to your strengths. That's completely okay. But if you spend some time looking, you'll be able to find a sport that fits your individual needs. And if you do, there are so many benefits. You'll be a part of a supportive community. You'll be building your confidence. You'll be exercising your body, and you'll be nurturing your mind. Not to mention having fun.
So I hope you like that short clip, no? Very inspiring. It's just a little over 4 minutes, pero I think we got a lot from it. And for me, sports is really, really very, very important. Lalo na ngayon. Boost our immune, sinabi na doon. Sinabi na lahat doon. And sabi nga we were having this webinar, no, with our coaches, and one of the parents said na if there will be no sports in our school, they'd rather move to another school because eventually their kids would not have anything. Lalo na ngayong summer. Another thing was that what sports did to their kids was it brought structure. Right after the lockdown, nobody was doing anything, including myself. Diba? Everybody didn't know. Akala natin 1 month lang, iniwan natin gamit natin sa school. And now, we realized na hindi. We need to move forward. And ang nangyari was, nagkaroon ng structure yung mga bata sa buhay nila, lalo na nung early parts of the lockdown. Because our coaches adjusted, our teams adjusted, we all adjusted. So siguro, what I want to transition to is what COVID has done to us. No, let's move to the next slide. COVID has. Gusto pa ni Sir JR panoorin ulit. Ay, Sir Josh panoorin ulit. May isa pa tayong video, but what COVID has done to us was that it allowed us to experience change. Change can be positive, change can be negative. It can be embraced, it can be managed. Also, it can be resisted. So, depende sa atin, depende sa inyo. But I think COVID is allowing us to experience and allowing us good or bad na effects to change, no? And this is something that I want us to look into. Itong video na to, medyo mahaba siya, 4 minutes or plus 10. But later on, siguro we can already pause it once we already get the gist. Ang sinasabi ng bata, basically, is that sports is education. So let's play it.
Education. Education is an extremely important word. When I said education, a thought, an initial primary feeling went through your minds. What was that thought? Was it math, science, English? Let me ask another question. How many thought sports? How many thought physical education? Almost none. Do you think that sports are a part of education? Or do you think it's for the athletes, the professionals? It should be limited to a pastime or a hobby. Why shouldn't sports be a part of education? Did you know that only 2% of high schools in the United States offer physical activity every day or its equivalent? At Azar, we're lucky to share the same as that 2%. Conventional education includes sitting and schedules, classrooms and desks, because that's where people learn, right? What if I told you that you can learn as much, if not more, from sports than from a conventional education? There's a reason that colleges and universities look for sports on your applications, because they teach. Don't believe me? I used to procrastinate a lot. Homework and projects were motivated only by what I call LMP, or last minute panic. When I joined my swim team, the Manta Rays, my evenings were taken away from me, now to be replaced with practice. I no longer had the leisure to do nothing all day and my work at the last second. I learned to do my work early, on time, and well. Looking back, I realized I stopped procrastinating just by joining the team. I also learned perseverance. When I submit a project or a test, I always think, is this my best work? Did I make the most of my time? And how can I improve? This thought process came from swimming. If I missed a time at a swim meet, I would always reflect on my race and see what was lacking. Was it my technique, my aggression, my stamina? This thought process of reflection applies to my studies, and I go through this mental procedure every time I submit something important. I also learned resilience. If I'm stretched out and doing too many things, I learn to snap back to what matters and prioritize my work. Most importantly, I learned that not every effort results in victory, and sometimes victory can be achieved without a lot of effort. These are just small snapshots of how one sport helped me mentally, but what about physically? I learned to respect not only others, but myself, my body. Days were physically stressful, especially after an after-school sport and swim. I realized that my body was not getting the nutrition it needed on a daily basis. I started making better choices where ice cream was replaced with apples and cookies were replaced with protein. My body was getting the nutrition it needed now, and I make those daily choices on a habitual basis. I play a lot of sports, competitively, for fun, as a hobby. One of them is badminton. I realize that the more I play badminton, the better I get at shooting a basketball, at throwing a frisbee, and at serving a tennis ball. Because of playing badminton, my overall motor skills developed. This is how one sport not only helped me mentally, but it also helped, well, other sports. In fact, every professional athlete plays one supporting sport to build their muscles. Sports have taught me so much. The experiences that I've gained playing sports have built until I've processed my own perception of the world from them. Can you tell me now that sports are not an integral part of our education as children? Childhood obesity has tripled in the last 30 years. Tripled. If a child is exposed to sport at a young age, they play it, develop a passion for it, and grow at it. I assure you that childhood obesity wouldn't be half the problem that it is today. I want you to imagine a coin. That coin is on the ground, and you can only see one side of it. That side is a conventional education. Your job is to put that coin on its side so you can see the other side of it, which is sports. Sports teach as much as anything else, and it's about time that we acknowledge it. Thank you.
Ganda, no? It's something for all of us to reflect on. Education is sports. Sports is education. And that is something that we also want to embrace now, whether we're PE teachers, coaches, sometimes nga when education can also encompass formation, right? So this is something that we can look into also during this time. Before, sinasabi natin, we don't have time. We need to train. We need to do all these stuff. We need to strategize. We need to recruit. We need to do all these things. But now is a great time for us to make a difference, to make a change. No, some of us, there are a lot of companies, no, that have, if you go to the next picture, a lot of companies, no, that made a difference. No, Facebook, Alibaba, Uber, Airbnb. They changed the game. No, they changed the game. What am I saying here? Yes, COVID might be something that's very, very, very negative, but I think it can also be used for us to be agents of change to make it positive. What if we develop athletes in a different way, or develop a sports program in a different way? So next slide, please. So I hope you're still doing okay, no? So how do we start? No, where do we start? We start with the vision. The vision should be clear. Okay, the vision should be clear. We have to start with a vision that is clear. Paano magiging clear? It has to be communicated. It has to be something na everybody will embrace, everybody will follow. It has to be a desire, sabi nga ni Muhammad Ali. And if we play this video, I'd like to share with you the US men's volleyball team, no, led by Karch Kiray, won in the beach volleyball, won in the Olympics as a player, and has also won as a coach in the Olympic level and in the world stage. No? Pakinggan nyo to. Very, very simple lang ang kanyang message.
Hi, everybody. I'm Karch Kiray, head coach of the USA Senior Women's National Team. And I'm here to tell you why I'm so pumped about USA Volleyball's recent announcement regarding the National Team Development Program. First, USA Volleyball has as one of its biggest missions, and probably as it applies to us, the biggest mission, and that is sustained competitive excellence. Our senior national teams need to be contending fiercely at every major tournament we enter, contending to stand on the podium, contending to win medals. And so this is from top to bottom. It's going to be very...
Sir Josh, so yun, napaka-clear, di ba? Sustained winning. They see themselves always to be at the podium. So if you say vision, it has to be very clear. So it has to be something that you know where you want to go. So next slide, please. So, yan, pang ilan na bang red word to? The visualize the outcome you want.
Hi, everybody. I'm Karch Kiray.
Coach Shanti, I think you're on mute. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So let's say, after creating a vision, you have to make a plan and you have to follow the plan. And this is something commercial ng Executive Optical, no? Something that a plan, no? Hindi niya nasunod yung vision niya. Okay. Let's play the video.
Poor eyesight leads to poor performance. For state-of-the-art service and affordable eyewear, go to EO. Love your eyes.
Okay. So very simple lang, di ba? If you don't have a vision at hindi mo siya sinundan, then yun ang mangyayari. Instead na I love Ruby, magiging I love Rudy. it's very important for us to create a plan and follow it. Many are asking, how are you able to migrate your plans to or have plans for sports? No, we were one of the lucky ones who were able to have our strategic planning prior to the lockdown, literally prior to the lockdown, and that's why pagdating ng school time, we just migrated them online and adjusted to the new normal. So, and then next slide, syempre, because nag-adjust tayo, especially me, no, I only got into the job noong January 6. And then a few weeks after that, nagkaroon ng Taal ashfall. And then after that, nag-pandemic. So, ang hirap na hirap talaga ako. Hirap na hirap ako. And then nag-adjust pa dito sa new normal. Sabi nga ng USA Olympic Committee, it's not every 4 years, but it's every day. So yung daily grind, no, we really have to be really resilient. No? Nakita ko dun sa mga sagot niyo dun sa Slido, you're still very passionate and so excited with sports or still excited with PE. Ito yung gusto kong makita yung picture, no, na isang Nike commercial about hard work. No?
It's just something we made up. Somehow we've come to believe that greatness is a gift reserved for a chosen few, for prodigies, for superstars, and the rest of us can only stand by watching. You can forget that. Greatness is not some rare DNA strand. It's not some precious thing. Greatness is no more unique to us than breathing. We're all capable of it. All of us.
So I think right now during this pandemic, even though we don't have something, a timetable, we still need to work hard. This is a good way for us to break bad habits. This is a good way for us to go through a new process, learn new things, create new habits, and hopefully this will bring us to where we want to be. So next slide, please. So we said kanina, visualization, make a plan and follow the plan, and then hard work. So I want to challenge everybody in this group that we can create, no? We can create. And I want to ask Sir JR to put another Slido, no? Another survey. I want to for all of us to interact. What can we create? Ano yung pwede nating create during this pandemic? And as we create, no, I'd like to share with you, no, as you answer this this Slido, I want you to think about ano yung pwede nyong gawin. Ginagawa na, meron na palang mga sumagot, Sir JR, no? So, ano yung mga pwede nyong gawin? What are the things that we can do during this pandemic? And I'd like to share, no, that during this pandemic, I was able to create my purpose statement. I read the book of Simon Sinek of Finding Your Why. Di ba, meron pa siyang, prior to that is Start with Why. But this year, last year, sinabi, may follow-up book siya. Sinasabi niya doon, Finding Your Why. And vision plus klarong mission will fuel passion. And it's very, very important for us to come into this work, pagtuturo, education, coaches, trainers, PE teachers, to be passionate. And nakikita ko dito, sinasabi nyo, most of you are into creating recreational activities, creating modules, being active. Some are even saying follow protocols. That's right. By following protocols, you're actually contributing, no, to flattening the curve. Kaya lang, pag fina-flatten natin curve natin, ibang curve din yung nade-develop, no? Dito sa may midsection natin. But seriously speaking, I think we need to still have that desire to create something. At ito, proud ako i-share sa inyo that the Sports Development Office, next slide please, was able to create something, no? And after that, another slide, we were able to create something, and I want to coin it with SDO, the Sports Development Office. So SDO means sports, of course. Right now, this is the right time for us to look into new things, look at other things where we can advocate sports, promote sports, or recreational activities, or anything that will keep us active. Alam na natin yung benefits, di ba? But it is actually here, though, in our next slide, sir. So sports, marami ng apps or computer, mobile apps na will allow us to get into this, to these activities. Kahit na ganito tayo, limited tayo. There are a lot of very creative ways, no, na nakikita natin that our coaches and our PE teachers are showing, no, showing na yung creativity natin. Sports kasi is more than just a game. Sports is education, it's values, it's about also rest. Ngayon, natututo na tayo na pag nagpahinga pala tayo, it's also contributing to lesser injuries. Right now, career na rin ang sports. Diba? It's becoming a career. That's why a lot of parents are hovering around. No? Career has also become a business. Sports is about family. A lot of teams now, a lot of PE teachers, or a lot of people are also doing sessions, no, where they just have breakfast. They just communicate. They just talk. No, sports is about life lessons. Sports is about inspiration, and of course, humanity. Just like sa Olympics, diba? Celebrate humanity. Next slide, please. Then next is development. Ito, napaka-importante, no? I'll share with you a person na everybody knows, so the greatest of all time. Syempre, some will say it's LeBron James, but for me, it's really Michael Jordan. He always strengthened his weakest link. Di siya marunong mag-defend. What did he do? He became a Defensive Player of the Year, 9-time defensive first team sa All-NBA. And every single time na meron sinasabi sa kanyang weak link niya sa game niya, he continues to improve it. And itong ginagawa natin ngayon sa sports or sa PE, what is our weakest link? No? So example, meron kayo nakitang student nyo na mahina sumipa sa left or mahina mag-shoot ng layup sa left. Then this is a great time for him to learn that, diba? To learn that new skill. And what happens is, kung right-handed siya and he's learning a left-handed skill, the other side of the brain is also being exercised. Yan. So yan yung mga bagay na pwede nating gawin, no? Madalas kasi centered lang tayo to play to our strengths. But during this pandemic, we can actually change that and we can develop, no? We can actually develop players who are well-rounded. Next slide, please. Ito naman, the office, no? Or the back end. This is where winning starts. For me, ang secret ng secret ng any office, anybody, is the office, no? Yung opisina or the leadership of the group. I always relate this to a watch, no? Let's say yan, Rolex. Ang Rolex maganda, pero kung yung back end niya hindi maganda, kung yung mechanism niya, yung mga ang tawag dyan, yung mga wheels na nasa loob niya, hindi accurate, hindi precise, then it will not be working. Ito sinabi ni Jerry Krause, ng GM ng the late Jerry Krause, he's the GM of the Chicago Bulls. He actually said that players don't and coaches don't win championships, organizations do. That was a very controversial statement, no? But that's probably because Michael Jordan and him were not seeing eye to eye. They were underpaying Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and the rest, no? And even Phil Jackson. But what he was actually saying is all about teamwork. It's about teamwork. And totoo naman, if there was no Jerry Reinsdorf, there was no Jerry Krause who was eyeing their talents, looking for talents, walang Chicago Bulls, walang championships. So office is where winning starts. Next slide, please. So if you want to build a team, applicable to, no, sa lahat. If you want to build a family, if you want to, raise a family, a good family, if you want to have a good company, yan. It all starts with your office and, of course, your leadership. Then, ano yung mga kinreate namin specifically with our office, no? Siyempre, part na doon, no, sa teams natin, ano, sa team, sa mga offices natin. You have to create teams. You have to have very competent teams. But I just summed it up in office. So what are the things that we created? Number one is fundamentals. Ano ba yung pinaka-basic, no? Ano ba yung mga basic na meron dapat ang isang sports team or sports program? Siyempre, dapat when they do exercises, they do it properly. Example na lang, jumping jack, push-ups, sit-ups. What we did was we created fitness tests, and eventually we were able to create a online fitness challenge where nag-progress yung pag-correct namin ng form into creating it into a challenge para lumabas din yung competitive juices nila. Next slide, please. So, fundamentals, no? These are videos. Yeah, play mo na. Sige, Sir Josh.
Super simple, but you take a tennis ball, you take a very expensive piece of equipment called a Sharpie and draw letters or dots or shapes on it. And then once you have that, you start to play catch with a friend. Now, the way that the catch is played is really important. So I'm gonna play catch with my off-camera ghost here. And what you're gonna see is we're gonna throw the ball back and forth, but watch me. As the ball comes in, I'm going to try to follow the ball all the way into my hand, and I want to call the letter that I see as it hits my hand. Because most people, as the ball comes, they do this. And at the very last microsecond, they look away. So, most people catch like that. This is called predicting. It's not the ideal way to learn to catch a ball, particularly one that's going quickly. Instead, T. I want to follow the ball all the way into my hand, and the challenge is to call the letter as it strikes my hand. That ensures that I'm staying focused on the target.
Okay. Siguro next video. Another one is explosiveness. No? Yung kanina, it's about hand-eye coordination. And to believe you, this allows you to be more agile. It allows you to, even studies show that it allows you to have higher jumps. No? And then in the next video, explosiveness.
Hi everybody, today what we're going to talk about, as I said, is using your TV time as an elite athletic training tool. This may sound a little bit strange, but what we want to do is remember some basics about Neurology 101 and then how that works its way into athleticism. So when we talk about the brain, we say the brain and the nervous system basically function needing three things. Good input, so I need to be able to see well and hear well and feel things well. And then I need to be able to interpret what that information means in my brain. And then I need to choose the correct output, meaning the correct movement, high quality movement. And so whenever we watch sports, that's what we're seeing all the time. I see an athlete, he sees his opponent do something, he decides what that movement means, and then he acts to counter it. Now, whenever we train athletes, one of the things that we found is it's really useful to actually take a big step back and go, how can we train components of athleticism while you're doing other stuff? So here's how we're going to do it today. If you're sitting in front of your TV, I'm going to teach you a simple drill that you can work on that will actually connect visual information to explosive body movement, which is really a key element in most sports. All right, so here's how this works. First thing that we want to focus on is developing skill in developing tension in the body and relaxation in the body. I know that sounds kind of simple, but it's something that you really want to practice. So we're going to do it together. I want you to stand up, get nice and tall. I want you to grab the ground with your feet. I want you to tighten up all the muscles in your legs, tighten up your abdomen, tighten up your chest, your arms, and release it slowly. All right? Let's do that a couple more times. Everything gets tight, 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 tight. Slow.
So ang ganda, no? That's a those are very simple activities. Pero ang title ng kanyang videos are Elite Athlete Training. Yung catching ball niya, it's also being used in elite athlete training. So ang dami, no? It's called Z Health Performance. Again, disclaimer, I don't want everybody to be YouTube coaches, no? Kung ano lang makita nyo sa YouTube, yun yung gagawin nyo. But that's why I started out with a vision. Create a vision, create a plan, and then follow that plan, work hard, pero make sure that all your activities are grounded. Hindi porke, ito nakita ko sa YouTube maganda, ito nakita ko sa ganito maganda. Create muna a plan. And that's how we did it sa office namin. Of course, marami kaming natutunan, marami kaming, but later on I'll share with you also how we were able to cope up with our mistakes and or need for improvement. Next slide, please. Ito medyo magtatagal.
Hi, everybody. Today we're going to talk about
mental health and mindfulness. Mental health, mindfulness muna. Sige. Back in 2018, I already met this sports psychologist, and he said that mindfulness will be the next 7 habits of highly effective people, diba? Ni Stephen Covey. Because mindfulness is being present right now. It starts actually with just a simple exercise of breathing, sabi ni Bruce Jenner. So, very controversial athlete din to. Mahilig ako sa controversial people. But you have to train your mind like you train your body. Si Bruce Jenner, Olympic champion to before siya naging ibang tao. So, sports are 90% mental and 10% physical. Very, very different from what we're thinking. Napulot ko yan sa The Champion's Mind, one of my favorite books also. Think, train, and thrive. So the other thing is mental health. The sad part is that after the pandemic or after nag-lockdown tayo, mental health has taken a very, very, very deep dive. What do I mean? A lot of kids are committing suicide, attempting suicide. So kung dati 1 lang out of 10, now it's 7 out of 10. I'm taking up my master's, and that's actually a fact. And I don't want to dwell into it. I have a link here that you can look into the impact of on mental health of students during COVID-19. Ang daming articles yan. If you can just look into it, screenshot niyo yan, tignan nyo kung, and also how it will apply to your school or to your institution. Going back, marami pa tayong pwedeng pag-usapan sa mental health or sa mindfulness or sa mental training. There's a study also made, mental imaging and positive attitude and free throw skill shooting. It was made by Marcus Green sa St. Bonaventure University. Ginawa niya ng study, basically, isang grupo na nag-shoot ng free throws, nagpa-practice ng free throws, isang group na hindi nag-practice ng free throws, at isang group na nag-mental training lang ng free throws. And from all of the studies na ginawa niya, yung nag-practice ng free throw physically and nag-mental training, yun ang mga matataas. And ang sinasuggest niya is you combine both. So kung halimbawa ngayon di tayo nakakapag-practice ng free throw or whatever, then you combine or you practice the mental side of it. So ang dami pa dyan, ang dami pang, kasi the mind daw doesn't know that you're not doing it. So halimbawa nagpa-practice ka na tumatakbo ka, visualize mo siya. When you visualize it na tumatakbo ka, your brain doesn't know na hindi mo siya ginagawa. So that's what so in our school, in our sports teams, we invested now with coaches having appreciation with mental toughness, mental training. Some of them do yoga, some of them cross train, some of them are doing other things that will address their mental health, and mindfulness and mental toughness. Next slide, please. Ito, the heart and spirit. Again, it's a video. And I want you to remember that itong coach na to is an champion siya sa NCAA. Ilang beses siya nag-champion. Pero ang sinasabi niya dito, yung hina-highlight ng kanyang program, multi-titled coach, ang hina-highlight niya, hindi yung championships niya or yung mga pinanalo niya na trophies and medals. And please watch this video.
Another one of our gymnasts is one of the greatest gymnasts in the history of the sport. She's the only athlete to have earned the trifecta. She's a national champion, a world champion, and an Olympic champion. She's also not one for small talk. So I was a bit surprised one day when she came to my office, sat on the couch, and just started talking. First about her major, then about graduate school, and then about everything else that seemed to pop into her mind. My inner voice whispered to me that something was on her mind. And if I was still and gave her enough time, it would come out. And it did. It was the first time that Kyla had shared with anyone that she had been sexually abused by Larry Nassar, the former USA gymnastics team doctor who was later convicted of being a serial child molester.
Okay, let's stop there now. So,
Kyla?
Isa yan sa mga very controversial sports. If you can watch it sa Netflix, it ran for a series of a number of years, no? And ang maganda dito, ang hina-highlight niya was that she was able to address, no, yung player niya, yung student athlete niya. And what am I saying, no? The sport or the athlete is not just about the physical. It's not just about also the mental, but there's also a certain heart and spirit behind it. We're not going to talk about spirituality. We're not going to talk about religion here, but yung emotions, yung pinagdadaanan ng kabuuan ng isang bata. And all of us have spirits, diba? All of us have hearts, no? All of us have minds and bodies. Dapat holistic yung approach natin. So, next slide. So I think, no, whether whatever it is, no, you have to incorporate that into your program. I think we are slowly incorporating that into our program. We're having recollections, we're having masses, we're having this and that, and that's something that I think will be a game changer in sports. Some are already asking, no, for team chaplains in their teams. Next, please. So I want to, oops. Nawala ako. I want to, emphasize another C, no, culture. If you watch also itong Netflix series na Playbook, Doc Rivers is talking about Ubuntu. If you're familiar with the term, it means I am because we are. I am because we are. And that's something that's very similar also to our culture ng bayanihan spirit. No? Next slide. Siguro alam niyo naman to, no? It's something na very inspiring, and I learned a lot from this through Coach Chot Reyes himself. And I want you to answer this, no, whether sa chat or sa YouTube comment section. What is the biggest play in Philippine basketball in the past 40-45 years? This was like 2013. It's found in this video, and I want you to tell me which one is the biggest play of Philippine basketball in the past 45 years. Let's play the video. Let's pause there, no? Let's pause there. If we can rewind that, no, I'm not saying you rewind that. That was the three-pointer that killed our nemesis for the past 20 years, no? And that si Jimmy Alapag taking that three, ang backstory niyan is that nobody wanted Jimmy Alapag to be on that team because he was the shortest. And kalaban natin puro malalaki. And then another one is that Mark Pingris was one of the players who many didn't want because he was already at the tail end of his career and didn't have that much talent. Di siya ganun ka-agile, di siya kapareho ni Japet Tagaler or the other players there. No? But again, I want to go back, no? Quickly, what is the biggest play? What is the biggest play in Philippine basketball in the past 45 years? In that sequence. Lagay niyo sa chat. Lagay niyo sa dito sa Zoom. If you're on Zoom, if you're on YouTube. Is it Jimmy Alapag? Is it Chot Reyes? Is it what do you call that? Mark Pingris?
Sir Santi from Annalisa Puso, from Lucas Trust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ganda, no? Ganda. Sige. Those are nice answers and they're not wrong, no? But one of the greatest greatest play in Philippine basketball the past 45 years is not the three-point shot of Jimmy Lapag, but the screen made by Jimmy Lapag. Mark Pingris for Jimmy Alapag. The screen set up that play to make that shot. And what am I saying? I asked Chot Reyes, ang daming superstars yan eh. Paano mo sila napabuy-in dun sa gusto mo or sa culture na gusto mo? Ang sinabi niya na sagot is selection. The selection of the team is very, very much important. And what are we trying to point out here? No? Tama yung sinabi na trust. Tama yung sinabi na we have to have puso. No? But if we don't have those things, if you don't have a buy-in to the vision, to the plan, to the hard work, then hindi tayo magkakaroon ng winning attitude. Hindi mananalo tayo, no? And if you go to the other picture in this slide, we have Mike Krzyzewski. He is the most winningest coach, one of the most winningest coach in NCAA history. And meron siyang tinatawag na fist, no? Kung yung finger mo lang daw, you cannot make a dent, an impact, or change. But with the fist, together, we can make a change. And yung fist sa kanya, meron siyang 5 aspects niyan. And if you read his book, Leading with the Heart, doon makikita niyo collective responsibility, yung sinabi kanina, trust, and etc. No? So, if you look at these things, these are things na pwede nating gawin ngayon through sports. Pwede nating ituro yan through our coaches and through our PE teachers and through our student athletes. Next slide, please. So challenges, no? Again, we have a Slido there. Boon or bane? What is boon? Boon is your blessings, di ba? What is bane? Ano naman yung mga negative? If you can say yung mga challenges ninyo, ano yung mga challenges niyo na kinakaharap ngayon? Boon or bane? Siguro mga 30 seconds. Maybe we can give you time, no, so that I can also have a breather. Sige. Some are saying unable to conduct trainings. Some are saying also that mental health, no to face-to-face interaction, internet connectivity. Yeah. So, but totoo, no? Maraming collateral damage. The UAAP, wala tayong sports, walang leisure, walang recreation. Would you believe that tourism is also related to sports? Sa Thailand, no, 30 years ago, they created a program na they invited European teams to train, to play with their volleyball programs, their volleyball teams. And then after nila mag-train, after nila makipaglaban, after nila turuan yung mga coaches ng Thailand, they go to Phuket, yung parang Boracay natin. Ang ganda, no? Tourism related to sports. No? And then the next one is events. Of course, wala nang events. Although meron pang Chooks to Go 3-on-3, meron pa mga Vismin Cup, but that really has a lot of money, no? Ang PVL ngayon, bawal ka muna unless nagbabubble ka. So bubbles are very, very expensive. Lastly, adventure. Ngayon, kahit adventure, medyo bawal na. So, aside from that, athletic equipment. Nung una, nabubulok na yung mga sapatos natin. Ito, kahit nga ngayon, nakaupo ko pero may shoes ako. Kasi gusto ko at least nagagamit siya. No? So that's the collateral damage. No? And what's happening also right now, please, next 2 slides please. So yun yung collateral damage natin. So walang sports, walang can move to the next slide. So walang sports, walang leisure, walang recreation, and all these things, tourism, events, adventure, at nasisira yung equipments natin. So sporting equipments natin. But right now, ang dami na nag-workout sa bahay nila. So next slide please. So what's happening? Nagkakaroon lang tayo ng lahat online. Si karate, si taekwondo, I admire their leadership, no? Tsaka si chess. They're all having tournaments, no? That even swimming, I think they have programs that will allow their swimmers to train, no? Isa sila sa mga una nag-create ng online training through their National Sports Association. And next slide, please. Competition. Saan talaga ngayon yung pinakamatinding competition? There's an African proverb that says, when there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do you no harm. Again, it's mental. Again, it's within inside us. Kung wala tayong kalaban sa loob, walang makakatalo sa atin. Pero ngayon, ang dami nang nangyari. Anxiety, ang dami nang nangyari cabin fever, ang dami nang naiinis, maraming sasabi, hindi na nila kaya. But I guess that's not something we can dwell on today, no? Kasi nakikita ko na dun sa mga slide, hindi yan ang reality ninyo. Next slide, please. So ano yung challenge, no? Disclaimer lang, di ko to bahay. Yung house ngayon, naging home, naging school, naging church, naging gym, at this summer, magiging vacation house. No? Ako, I can attest to that. Pakita mo, Sir Josh, yung mga pictures. Ayan, dalawa-dalawa pa yung screen. Nagsisimba, si Mami nagwo-work habang kasama si baby. Mag-asawa, nagwo-workout. Siguro si Sir Josh, ganyan. And ngayon, kailangan mo mag-create ng activities, no, na pang summer para sa mga bata. And why am I saying this? Syempre, when you're a coach or when you're a PE teacher, or ito na yung reality natin, ito yung malaking challenge natin. Kung meron nga nangyari, parang 2 beses sila nagte-train, morning and hapon. Nagte-train yung team, morning, tapos nagte-train sa hapon. Pero ang reality pa rin, most of the time, yung bata kumakain ng chips, natutulog, nagpupuyat, nasa internet. So hindi pa rin sila naging healthy. And that's a very, very big challenge, no? Kailangan natin i-balance, no? Work-life balance, mix it up. Pakita ko lang yung trash can ko dito. Ginawa kong may basketball court ako just to mix it up. And then wala lang, para matawa lang ako. Meron akong alcohol dito, pero nilagay ko Jack Daniels. Wholesome tayo, pero wala lang, para lang alcohol. Para matawa lang tayo minsan, di ba? Mixing it up. But yan yung challenge natin ngayon. Hindi tayo pwedeng maging gloomy, no? And then, sige, next slide please. Yan. So vacation, kailangan ganyan tayo ka-creative. So paano ngayon yung coach, di ba? Paano ngayon yung PE teacher? Ayan na. Di ba? Ganyan na siya. Meron siyang screen, meron siyang timer, meron siyang pina-personal train, napakalaki ng screen niya para makita niya yung ginagawa ng kanya, ano. And then yun, there's a app, no, yung Tapyas. It's a football app that's allowing football players to train pa rin kahit na pandemic. Ang ganda niya. it blew up in the internet, no? Sa pag dinownload mo siya, maraming football players ang gumagamit yan. Next please, next slide. Connectivity, and I'm not talking about here internet. Ito sinabi sa akin ng anak ko, okay dad, nagba-Bible study tayo. Okay, nagsisimba tayo together. Okay dad, we are biking together, we are eating together, we're sleeping almost together. Ang dami natin ginagawa things together. Sabi niya, but my friends are online. So, usap ako nasabi, worried ako about digital cocaine, pero nagsasuffer din yung socials ng mga anak ko. And, saan mo ba nakukuha yun? Di ba kanina doon sa video, nakikita natin that sports helps us become to connect with other people, to have a community. Sige, next slide please. So connectivity, no? Social connectors are, and then one of the last C's, no? Collaboration. What we did also in our office, we collaborated. One Phys Ed is doing at the same. Ang dami niyang collaboration, and that's very good. Kasi diyan nalalabas na hindi tayo dapat kanya-kanya. We're all connected, no? We're all connected, and this is a good avenue for us to collaborate, no? To collaborate. I'm making it faster kasi I know I'm running out of time. Next slide, please. Yan. Ito napakaganda. Very, very timely, no? Yung pagiging, this year is the 500 year of our Christianity, no? Yung first mass sa Limasawa or sa Kumunhon, wherever it is. It's still a historical debate. But yung ating pantries, yung mga community pantries, that's a sign of bayanihan. That's a sign of us being very helpful, and it's about our faith, no? Na expressed. And makikita mo, meron pa nagsalita na si Eva daw, nagsimula ang kasalanan dahil nagbigay siya ng pagkain. So that's taken out of context na. But I respect their opinions. But all I'm saying is that, even this us being together, no, this is already creating a community. So lastly, I want us to watch this video. This is going to be one of my last videos, and I want to share with you a celebration. You know, DeWitt Jones is one of the National Geographic's best photographers, and ang ganda ng sinasabi niya, celebrate what's right with the world. Nawala yung audio.
Based on possibility. And man, I was choosing possibility. And no matter how dry and desolate, no matter how bleak and devoid of possibilities a situation might seem, that if I could just celebrate the best in it, in this case, just by dropping down into that slot canyon and looking back the other way, I could find a perspective that would transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. Through that lens of celebration, I could see one of nature's most important lessons. There's more than one right answer. There's more than one right answer. There are 1,000 ways to come at any challenge, to find that extraordinary view. And I know it so easily from my time at the Geographic. They sent me up to the town of Smith River in Northern California. They raise about 80% of the Easter lilies in the country around that village. That's the story I had to tell. And I've got a perspective where I got picked lilies and unpicked lilies and the boy picking them. One right answer. A pretty good one. But as a photographer, I never think of stopping there. I took this picture, immediately I grabbed another lens, walked over a couple rows, knelt down and found another right answer. Same parameters of the problem, now seen from a totally different point of view. And my favorite right answer that day was this one. This is an advanced levitation technique that I picked up along the way. So, three right answers.
Maybe we can pause there now.
So many things begin to...
I think nakuha na natin yung point that there are no right answers right now. There are thousands of right answers. And during this pandemic, we cannot say, even the Salsabel cannot say, we have all the right answers. Maybe the answers are with you. Maybe the answers are with the students. Maybe the answers are somewhere else. No? But imagine nyo yung community pantry. May nakaisip ba nun? Wala eh. But to be honest, it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. It's already there. Diba? So, why do we say na it's a celebration? That's a celebration of humanity. And when you say celebrate humanity, where can we see that? It's in the Olympics. That's a battle cry of the Olympics. So next slide, please. I'll summarize this. We're going to summarize it by saying sports is education. And when you say education, we start with a vision. And ano yung mga pwede mo magawa? Fundamentals, di ba? Sports fundamentals. Then, you create a plan, you follow that plan. And ano yung ginagawa ng plan? Development, no? Holistic development. And of course, sports is education. It's hard work. And of course, you have to have an office. Hindi pwedeng solo ka. Hindi pwedeng, that's the spirit of the community pantries. Hindi ka pwede solo. Di ba? And you have to have an office and you have to have a system. So, as we close, no? Next slide, please. As we close, siguro the last one is cost, no? I don't want to play the video anymore because I know we're running out of time or baka it's too long already. But what I'm going to tell you lang is that Simon Sinek is a big advocate of why and vision, no? Basically, sinasabi niya, why? Ito yung mga experiences mo in the past. Yung vision, ito yung gusto mong puntahan. Now, yung vision na sinasabi niya, it's supposed to be so compelling. It's supposed to be so compelling. Your why will bring you to your vision. Yun yung cause mo. Yun yung pinaglalaban mo. So ngayon, ang pinaglalaban natin sports, but of course, there are other parameters and there are no right or wrong answers right now. But I hope someday makahanap tayo ng ibang solution. We can also celebrate, but just what like Dewitt Jones is saying. So, next slide. Sige, balik mo muna, Sir Josh. No? I want to ask the people kung ano yung mga red words na nakita nyo. Siyempre, pag sinabing Netflix, hindi. Letter C's lang. And ang mapapanalunan nyo is Nike pairs of socks. Yan. Yan. So, pwede nyo ilagay sino yung unang tamang sagot sa YouTube tsaka sa dito sa Zoom. Then, I'll give it to Sir JR, and then Sir JR and I will work on bringing it to you.
Yes, Sir Santi.
Okay.
They're just waiting for their answer.
Okay. While we're waiting for the answer, I just wanted to siguro sa next two slides, no? Yung next two slides, Sir JR, wag mo na bigay yung sagot. Sa slide 39, siguro coming out of this pandemic, sabi sa Bible, the Proverbs 24 verse 3, there's nothing stronger than a broken man who has rebuilt himself. And ngayon, yun yung challenge sa atin, no? PE teacher, coaches, student athletes, we are called to rebuild ourselves, to change ourselves, to be agents of change, or to collaborate, and all these things, no, na sinabi ko. So, thank you very much. I hope I kept you on your toes. And thank you rin kila Sir JR for allowing me to give my thoughts and my mind and to share what we have learned. No? Siguro we can open the floor for questions and answers. So.
All right, Sir Santi, that's a very inspiring content, no? I think this content, bago nga into a technical matters, a point of realization is that before taking into a deeper context of how are we gonna manage things, how are we gonna adjust things, one thing is, one of the best thing that we need to establish first is, of course, to have this clear vision of how are we gonna proceed or how we're gonna transition into this. And through the sharing that you did. I truly believe that with all those comments, affirmations that we're receiving right now for almost 270 people in YouTube, I think they are reawakened or na-awaken tong mga kasama nating PE teachers na on how we're gonna be they will continue the sports program that they're handling even at this time of pandemic. No? Coach Josh, how about you? What are the things that you can say about the session of Sir Santi?
Well, very very there's a bulk of learnings, no, that our PE teachers can get through it, no. Well, everything is new, tama, Coach Santi, no. Everything is new. We don't know. We don't have any idea that this pandemic will come and strike us this hard, no. And wala. I mean, only thing that you can do, and I really agree with how Coach Santi handled it, no. Just need to have a vision. You need to plan ahead of time, no. Follow your planning and work hard. That's the only thing that we can do.
Yes.
And there will be errors, and there will be success along the road, but hard work and the vision really needs to be there, and you have to stick to it, no. Kasi well, you just have to go forward, and there's no turning back, no. If you want to serve our athletes, if you want to serve our student, there's no other way but to go forward. And that's the vision that Coach Santi shared to us. So we're very grateful for that sharing, Coach. No, very inspiring. No, and hoping that our PE teachers also, even they having a hard time right now in dealing with these challenges niya. Diba? And sobrang rin nung verse ni Coach that I mean, there's nothing stronger than a broken man who has rebuilt himself. So for us for us to be more stronger, we have to get out of our comfort zone, and everyone's comfort zone is this pandemic, no. And sabi natin, we can only feel God's grace, no, in times of our when we are out of our comfort zones. So yan. So we're very thankful, Coach, no. So ako very na-inspired din ako. Saludo. Ang galing nung.
Yeah, thank you. It's an honor to be here.
And of course, if gusto ko lang i-add, no, napakaganda rin ng binitawan na salita ni Sir Santi na he's sharing as the sports head of LaSalle Sobel, but alam niya na no perfect answer can be given right now. All of us are trying. Even sabi niya nga, baka yung mga nanonood sa atin, they are the one who can find a much perfect answer on how can I deal things at this time of the pandemic. So yung napaka-humble ni Sir to share to the community. So ayun, no, Sir Santi, I just wanna inform you then our PE teachers or our participants in our YouTube live are very much thankful with I think the word is inspiring. No? Very inspiring webinar that you provided to the community today. Sabi nga ni Sir Robert Victorio, sabi niya, wow, grabe, na-inspire ako ng sobra. So, so yun, at napakaraming word na inspiring din yung lumalabas dito at pasasalamat. Kaya I think with this kind of session na i-provide natin, this is also a perfect opportunity, no, or a preparation, because I believe, no, tayong mga nasa private school, we're ending our school year, we're gonna evaluate what are we doing, and even the public school in the coming 3 or 4 months, they're gonna be ending their academic year. Maybe this is a perfect na ngayon natin sinama, so that maybe that next academic year, for those who are not able to conduct sports program this academic year, as in marami talagang zero or wala talaga, maybe masimulan nila little by little with the help of the topic that we got for today. So, ayun, no?
Coach Jay,
yes, Coach
share
Josh.
ko lang sa'yo, no? I mean, I talagang I can attest to what Coach Santi has been through, no? Talagang yung last year namin, we're been to sa Bacolod. We're been kakahire lang ni Coach Santi. Pumunta kami Bacolod to attend Interlasal. Get back to Manila. Everything was there. COVID was there. Sakto na lahat. So, I mean, the planning talaga of Coach Santi is really brilliant, no? And the way he handles the program itself it's really brilliant, no? So I can attest na talagang pagkapasok ni Coach Santi, yun na agad yung inabutan niya talaga na situation. So yan.
And of course, alam natin na marami pang mga programs and innovations ang gagawin ng Sports Development Office ng LaSalle. And I believe they are very much willing if there will be opportunity to share. And of course, let's give also credit sa bumubuo ng De La Salle Santiago Zubel School Sports Development Office dahil of course, no, lahat sila ay nagtutulong-tulong to make things possible. And Sir Santi, siguro bibilisan natin. Ngayon po si Sir Santi ay may grad school din po siya na klase kaya bibilisan na po natin. So, Sir Santi, what's the final answer? Final answer because may mga answer na dito. May naglagay 20, may naglagay 15. The final answer is...
Sir Josh, nandun sa slides na. Dun sa slide before Q&A. Yan.
Okay. Sige, let's check. Sige. Then let's go back. Oops.
Yan.
Here you go.
So, 1, 2, 3, 4,
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Am I correct?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20?
20, yeah.
20.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah.
And because of that, our winner for this, hindi po namin alam to. Tama po si Sir Santi. Kaya hindi po namin nabilang agad. Sorry. So, our winner, okay, para lang po sure tayo. Yan. Ayun, nalaman ko na. Ang nakaunang-unang nagsagot po, no? Former speaker din po natin dito. Congratulations, Sir Ray Del Prado, no? 20 ang kanyang sagot. We're just gonna be communicating with you, Sir Ray. Kilala po natin siya. And Coach Josh, of course, no, bigyan na natin ang ating munting pasasalamat kay Coach Santi. Kindly present the certificate.
Go, Coach.
All right, let me read. This is our certificate of recognition is hereby awarded to Mr. Santiago Joven V. Edralin for generously sharing his expertise as resource speaker during the 1FISED.ph Sports Series webinar with the team engaging Philippine FISED community through different medium in sports and physical activities. In this episode, titled School Sports Program in the New Normal via 1FISED YouTube channel and Zoom, awarded this 17th. Okay, we're just gonna correct that. 24th of April 2021. Signed yours truly, Coach J.R. Viterbo, founder of 1FISED.ph, and of course, Coach Joshua Ben Villarreal, Technical Officer of 1FISED.ph. And having said that, congratulations and maraming salamat, Coach Santi, for being an inspiration to the community today.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
Yan. Okay, bago po tayo mag-end, gusto ko lamang po i-announce para sa lahat ng ating mga participants, abangan po natin ang link ng ating evaluation and e-certificate rather, sa ating Facebook page, 1FISED.ph, to be sent by our very own Miss Phoebe Adrales. And make sure na ang ating mga detalye ay tama po, because the problem, you might not be receiving your certificate because the email, there's something wrong with the spelling of with the email that you provided in the form. And also, you may also check your spam. Baka dun po yan napunta. Muli, no? Muli, maraming salamat po sa lahat ng mga nakibahagi sa atin. Ngayong araw, we have around more than 280 people kanina na nakapag-join sa atin. And never forget that we have this free professional development training every Saturday. So next Saturday po, abangan natin ang outdoor activities and youth fitness program naman by the first week of May. And of course, meron po tayong dance series na mga darating pa na mga buwan. Muli, this is Coach JR of 1FISED.ph together with the brilliant team of 1FISED.ph saying, let's break the limits and let's go beyond. Happy Saturday. Stay safe, everyone, and God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Coach Santi, can we take a picture of you?
Sure. Nakalimutan ko yung video ng next time na lang pag sa next shows niyo.
Sige,
saka pag ready na.
Coach, wala kaming ibang may bibigay kundi ang pasasalamat kasi ito'y last year pa po lumalabas. Nakausap ko na nga kayo last year pero hindi lang maisingit pa. Kaya maraming salamat po.
Welcome. Sana nakatulong, and
I'm
I
pretty
look forward to yung feedback din. Syempre, it will help.
I'll be sharing the form na lang, Coach, para makita nyo din po.
Coach Jay, stop live na tayo.
Alright. Okay.